Having done jobs in male-dominated companies, I realized there is that need to empower the underrepresented professionals to claim the jobs they deserve. Sometimes people, they need someone, a mentor, to hold their hands, to empower them. This is when I realized I need to follow my true passion for personal and professional development and helping other people inspire, motivate, and make people grow very quickly.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Heart to Core channel. Today we have Ana. Ana, welcome in. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Hello, Emanuel. First of all, thank you so much for having me to your beautiful word of wellness, personal and professional development. It's amazing. I'm connecting with you and with your beautiful audience from London. I'm Romanian. And I come from Transylvania, from Dracula's land. So this is who I am. And yes, a privilege to be your guest today.
Well, thanks again for taking the time and space to sync up with us, Ana. So tell us, what is Green Apple's career and what do you specialize in for your clients?
Green Apple's career is my recent project after having worked for global brands for almost 2 decades. And this makes me really old, but I'm not that old. I think I gained a bit of wisdom having worked for truly global brands like Kent, Vogue, Heineken, Kit Kat, Maggie. So I decided last year to leave the corporate and to follow my fire in the belly. And this is when I realized I need to follow my true passion and something that has always been there for personal and professional development and helping other people grow quickly. This is a gift I have. And this last summer, I founded and I launched Green Apple's career. I can share why Green Apples. I realized there is so much need. Having done, as a woman, having done jobs in male-dominated companies, I realized there is that need to empower the underrepresented professionals like myself, women from the ethnic background, growing amazing careers. I have done it, but sometimes people, they need someone, a mentor, to hold their hands, to empower them, to motivate them. So this is how Green Apple's career was founded and launched last summer with a beautiful party in September last year. And the Green Apple's career is a mentoring hub, and the mission is to empower the underrepresented professionals to claim the jobs they deserve and to say no to discrimination and yes to their career. So this is my my dream. This is what Green Apple's career stands for, and also it's quite disruptive because we are working with small organizations for now, with small organizations, and we try to create disruptive mentorship programs to attract, retain, and motivate diverse talent.
That's fantastic. And I know there's a high demand for that, especially when recruiters are trying to make their workplaces much more diverse, because diversity brings not only, diversity of thoughts, but also ideas, and it also drives and increases overall performance and business revenue. So, Ana, I commend you so much for doing this fantastic effort, not only in England, London, but also worldwide, and having that ripple effect. What are the transferable skills that you brought from your expertise into this new founded venture?
this question, Emanuel, was asked in different ways by colleagues, friends, even my family. They said, a mentor, after having worked all your life in negotiations, conducting professional negotiations on behalf of big corporations, after having worked in supply chain, a very technical job, I realized ultimately I was a leader. And even leading my own career to where I've always dreamt, living Romania, a beautiful country, but still evolving and emerging, and living my, childhood dream of traveling all over the world, having international friends, and also having this international career, being able to, to own my career and my life. So I was so successful internationally doing these technical jobs because I think I had something I was born with, a passion for people and for growing people, for motivating people, for growing high-performing teams. But also I realized actually it gives me a cutting edge as a mentor to dial in my technical skills and negotiating with ourselves every single day. Being a professional negotiator, being a supply chain, knowing what it takes to be very, to firefight, to create immediate solutions, to bring critical products, to import the critical products, very good at forecasting. So all these technical skills, actually, they are my competitive advantage and technical skills that I bring into my mentorship.
So you mentioned something about negotiation with ourselves. What does that look like? How do we negotiate it on the daily basis? How do we identify what's most important to short-term and long-term success?
Some people would say you don't have to negotiate with yourself, but I truly believe that we are born, even from childhood, as kids, to negotiate and to use emotional negotiation to get the toys we want. So we are born to negotiate since childhood. What it takes to negotiate with ourselves, it takes courage, but also it takes discipline. It takes courage because courage will take you to your best version of yourself. It takes courage to grow because you need to go outside of your comfort zone. So courage comes with overcoming obstacles. It takes a lot of discipline because you need to be disciplined. I love fitness and I negotiate with myself. Not all the time I'm in a good mood. I know fitness gives me, many benefits, but I negotiate with myself to stay disciplined, but because disciplines, constant and small steps will take me to where I want to be in, fitness-wise. That's why it's so important negotiating with ourselves. Yeah.
Absolutely. Iteration, baby steps, always compounds those elements of success. And that's really how I identify my growth nowadays. It's really the iteration. It's really applying these technical terms and processes that are established in these large corporations, such as the Kaizen method, which is the process of continuous improvement in the tech world. But now I apply that to myself. It's taking steps forward. And it's okay to take a step back and rest a little so that we can take those leaps of 5 steps so that we can, step into that accelerated path like you mentioned.
And this is where I transfer my knowledge as a negotiator, as a former negotiator, to mentorship. It's called best alternative to negotiate to a negotiated agreement, or BATNA. One of the most famous professor at Harvard University, this approach, BATNA, what's your BATNA? Best alternative to a negotiated agreement, Emanuel, is when no matter what the circumstance is, we need to have several options on the table. The best, the least acceptable, and, in the middle. What am I ready to conceive or to give up? what are my non-negotiable, so when you go into a salary negotiation, when you go to negotiate, with yourself, should I start this healthy program to lose weight? Come up with lots of variables in order to, to be successful, because by having lots of options on the table, you will be ready, you will not be surprised, and you will win by having so many options.
I think it's very important to have non-negotiables, right? On a daily basis. This is an absolute no, because I'm standing true to my principles and my North Star and moral compass. What are some of those for you?
It's easy question to answer. It's integrity. If I am who I am today, as a person, as a daughter, as an auntie, as a mom to my Turkish Angora, as a leader, international leader, as a mentor, I am because I have never negotiated my values and my principles, my integrity. Never negotiated my integrity.
What are your personal core values? And do those tie into your business core values?
My core values are integrity, courage, and genuine connection. And these are the values that I bring to my mentoring hub, Green Apples Career. Integrity, do what it takes to stand up for yourself, no matter how hard it is, especially as a woman in male-dominated jobs. And also when you are also from the non-majority, from an ethnic minority, because I have worked in 4 countries so far. So I found myself in the minority, as a woman or as an ethnic minority, or even both. But integrity, remind yourself you are at the table with the majority because you are good and because you are worthy. So integrity. The second is courage. In order to pursue your integrity and to show and stand up for yourself, you need courage, Emanuel. You need courage to speak up. You need courage to tell, when you see, for example, discrimination in the workplace, you need to say, to report it, or to say this is unacceptable, or take actions. Yeah. Talking about the core of your podcast, this is the courage piece. And the third value, it's genuine connection. I will never have friends, business partners, or doing things because it's right or it's beneficial, or because it brings me money. I never pursued money in my life. I never pursued things without having, without feeling. So even in an interview, when I remember 9 years ago, when I stepped in Nestle for my first interview, something was telling me it's right. Wow, what a company. So genuine connection, connecting with the right people, connecting with the right employers. So genuine connection. And this is what my mentoring hub stands up for.
For those that are struggling with this type of work and they're misstepping and they're saying, well, I'm just not getting it right. I'm trying to be more like Ana, but I'm just continuing to misstep and fail and trip and fall. And, they're just caught up in a level of distress. What would you recommend for them?
I took my own example. Mentors, they are like someone you look up to. When I realized that this is actually mentorship, helping organizations to become more equitable, more inclusive, more diverse, and helping the underrepresented have the courage to claim their worth in the workplace, which sometimes is not that inclusive. I looked at my example and I realized, okay, what are the patterns and the practices and the techniques I had employed in 2 decades what has worked, because I represented and I was employed in executive jobs by, internationally by big companies. And I realized what has worked was connected with a mentor without knowing she was a mentor at that time. I was broken, and this is when I was like trying to report something like a business conduct, but actually I was connecting with someone who became my mentor. And she told me something I will never forget, Emanuel. She said, you cannot change the environment. What you can change your path, Anna. And with your mindset, just go and pursue an international career. So I think what's working, what has worked for me is reach out to your family, to your colleagues, or to a mentor. You have no idea that woman, what an impact had on me in that moment. That moment was crucial. 15 years down the line, and I look behind, and 44 countries, 3 huge industry and companies I have worked for, an amazing career and amazing memories, a global network of people now, connecting with you. So I think the most important, we are not alone. We need to reach out. Mentorship takes off because it's no longer the traditionalist way of assigning an employee to a more senior person. No, is becoming even it could be a peer-to-peer relationship. The most important, a mentor needs to inspire you in so many ways and needs to give you the courage, because sometimes we are broken or we are not at our best. So this is what's working for me. And this is something I bring in my day-to-day mentorship and in my disruptive mentorship with organization. The courage piece, unconstruct the mentorship principle, because I believe companies' mentors are biased. So I'm a big fan of, non-biased mentorship. And so many other, beautiful things. I think also my way of mentoring people, employing motivational interviewing.
Can you expand on that, please? What does that mean? What is that? Tell us. I'm curious now.
Can you be the mentee for a moment?
Absolutely. Okay. Let's do it.
You are the mentee, and I will practice an example of a question I would ask in the mentoring session. Emanuel, you have this beautiful podcast where you bring in so many inspiring people to inspire others to live a healthy life. How would you feel when your podcast will become one of the most popular podcasts?
Oh, Ana, thanks for asking. And also thanks for noticing the possibilities of this podcast. I will feel like if I'm sitting on top of the world, I will feel magnanimous. I will feel as if I am not only amplifying my own voice, but I'm also doing the same for others. And I will feel as if I'm living my true passion and dream.
What I did, I was like, I employed empathy by empathizing with your purpose. I also, as a technique, I focused my question to already I brought you to an end state, to motivate you to see yourself in the future. And after that, more questions and more guidance from me will follow up in order to help you break down the necessary steps to get there. I realize somehow motivational interviewing is one of the many techniques. For me, I think I was born to be optimistic and to motivate myself. And this is something I would do. And this is what motivational interviewing in mentorship is.
Now, does this factor into that accelerated path that you talk about?
Yes, Emanuel, exactly. Because I was asked, I got my certification as a mentor in December last year, just because I was like, okay, I've done it for 2 decades, but I need the certification to be credible. And during the, certification stage, I was asked, how can you reflect and as a mentor and look back, what is it that drives that quick result in your mentees? And at that time, honestly, it was like I couldn't tell. And I said probably because I have this genuine connection and build up this I bring in my value, one of my third value, integrity, courage, but also the genuine connection. But actually it's this motivational. The motivational interviewing technique I'm born with, and also I practiced. And this drives amazing results in people.
So tell me, I mean, you had these couple of decades in these other professional sectors, but what was that moment of realization when you said to yourself, now is the time. I want to step into this position of establishing my own business venture, specifically tailored for, serving humanity, serving the underrepresented groups, and developing mentoring programs, and also applying these aspects of diversity, equity, and inclusion. What was that? What made you step into this field?
Two things. One is a positive one, and the other is a bit less expected but needed sometimes. I think the first one was the right time for me after 2 decades. I think the pandemic accelerated the truth, not only for me, for the big reshuffle and for this massive, big resignation, people resigning. I think I realized more than ever that I have been traveling the world. I have been doing all this. I have been holding all these, fancy titles. But who am I? Who is Ana-Maria? And I realized money is not everything, or a fancy title, or yes, I got to the very, into very senior roles, but it was a bit of it was the right time to get to know me, because to get to know myself, because it was like I lost myself in all these fancy titles. And the second reason was something which accelerated my decision. Sometimes when things don't, I believe everything happens for a good reason in life. Nothing, I don't believe in coincidences. Even us, having this podcast, it was meant somehow to, to meet and to build this collaboration, Emanuel. And what has happened, I went through discrimination, double discrimination, having worked for so many years, but the management was very toxic and was becoming very toxic. So I went through different sorts of discrimination in the workplace as a former executive, but I was like, it can't be true. It can't be true, because sometimes discrimination can be very silent. But when I look back now, it was, nobody needs that, experience to realize she is meant for something bigger. But probably for me, I was a bit complacent. As I said, I was like doing robotically all this stuff because I was well paid, because I had a fancy title, as I said, because I enjoyed the job. I was very good at it. But that experience helped me realize it was like a very tough wake-up call. Anna, now is the time. Actually, you have to let that fire in your belly go out, and as you said, with the heart to core. My heart was broken, my values were down, but also I was like, Actually, I can turn this around, and I can instead, because we have two choices in life. Either we go into, into the down, into the lows, or we transform that pain into something bigger. I chose to move on quickly. And actually, it was very brave, and it was my coping mechanism to overcome obstacles in the workplace by giving birth to my dream. And I learned how to be an entrepreneur in London.
No one really has to go through that in the workplace, especially, and hopefully things are shifting to create much better experiences and environments for individuals from various backgrounds. Is your business and mentoring hub and programs tailored for a previous version of yourself? And that version of yourself, do you see that in others today? And that's why, do you think, and I do feel that this is the reason why your business will thrive, because you're tailoring to your past version and also those who are experiencing the same thing in the workplace or not, but are helping them develop their growth and success, of course.
Emanuel, I realized it's shaped for the target audience, which is underrepresented and discrimination in the workplace. And if you look and Google on LinkedIn, EDI or diversity, equity, inclusion, it's raining with jobs in diversity, equity, and inclusion. When there is demand, there is offer. What does it? I'm an economist as background. I graduated economic studies. So what does this mean, demand and offer? It means demand and supply. It means that if there is demand, something fundamentally is broken or is not at the best, discrimination, toxic workplaces, toxic bosses, toxic managers, or not inclusive practices. So I realized also the big reshuffle is because people realize fancy titles or a big salary is not enough or is not actually fulfilling, and life is too short to settle for so less. But the target audience, Emanuel, made me, which I'm part of, made me realize, wow, I'm strong. I was born somehow resilient. And with this motivation, I'm quite, thick-skinned, they say. But not many people, not even my former teams, the underrepresented, they said, Anna, you are brave. We wish we could be like you, but we have these obstacles, or we don't feel this. And I realized, wow, okay, actually, I can help people. And it was not the old version. It was the new version of me, recognizing the fire in the belly and the need for underrepresented to have someone like me, a mentor, disruptive enough, that goes in the workplaces and brings a positive, a motivational interviewing technique, credible as a woman, as a, someone who has done 2 decades in male-dominated jobs, to be a mentor and to show what mentors are, not in the company's mentors, non-biased mentors. So I think my experience, what I went through, but also gave me the courage to do it. But also it was like a wake-up call. It's like, wow, more than ever, actually, things are getting worse.
Wow. So you're actually putting people first here. It's not always, we often think, or I often think, well, what's the solution for me? But you noticed that you can bring a greater level of impact for those that are underrepresented in the workplaces. I think that's fantastic, Ana. Thank you so much for sharing that story and the greater level of impact. Impact is actually one of my personal core values. It's one of Heart to Core's core values. And I see that you're doing that throughout the world and in your programs as well. What pieces of advice would you give to those facing obstacles in the workplace?
Three advices, three strategies, which I use in my mentoring practice, which I used with success, being successful, because I've always had to overcome various obstacles. Yeah. Discrimination was not born yesterday or after, the movement that was brought by George Floyd, unfortunately. So discrimination has been always there. And employees are they need the techniques, they need the strategies, and they need the people like mentors or coaches or, the support network. I would, three things I would give them as advice. First of all is mindset. We choose to blame the boss or the workplace, but my advice is have an inclusive mindset. Instead of blaming your boss, think about and challenge yourself and come up with an inclusive mindset. How can you bring your boss to understand how it feels to be bullied or harassed or discriminated or being unfairly, treated? The first, it's mindset, Emanuel. It's so mindset, how you position yourself. And because if we react instead of reflecting and having a response, we do not control our emotions. And I know you are passionate about wellness. So, and this is why it's so important. In the moment, recognize what's happening, go back and reflect on the mindset piece. The second second step, once you understand, okay, my boss is treating me unfairly or very different to other colleagues, the second step is raise your voice. Now that you recognize you are composed, you recognize the emotion, the harm, but also the lack of business conduct, you need to raise your voice. And this is number 2. Raise your voice, meaning you need to formulate that answer, not the reaction, the answer, either in a one-to-one or if it's really a magnitude or it's a racist comment, you need to report it to HR, but you need to raise your voice in a way or another, feedback or, more formal way. And the third step is action your brand. I worked for global brands for 2 decades, and I had the privilege to grow with them as a professional, as a person. You know why all these global brands are still global? Because they have values. They are sustainable. They have that, the core principles. But a brand, to stay a brand, it's a continuous work, to become even more sustainable, even greener, even, more ethical. So it's a continuous work. So that's why the third step is action your brand. We are brands as well. You, Emanuel, you are a brand at LinkedIn. I am my own brand now. Even the way I dress today is like green apples, colors. I am my own brand, the way I talk, I engage, So I highly recommend the employees to action their brand mindset, raise your voice and action your brand. Show them who you are, that you deserve respect.
What can people expect from a mentoring program, especially a mentor program that's gone through your hub? What can someone expect and look forward to receiving from these programs?
I think the most important is connection with someone more experienced, someone who shares the same values. So it's important. First of all, it's important what mentor you choose. either is a mentor that is being provided by the company or outside the company. It's so important you share the same values with that person. And what they can expect, I think if they want to work with a mentor, what they can expect is they need to be very clear what they try to achieve. Because mentorship is, a mentor will help you achieve and fulfill your true potential and work with you collaboratively to achieve your full potential, and achieve your goals. But you need to be very clear, because mentorship is not therapy. Mentorship is, I'm your mentor. You chose me because you respect me and you believe that we share common values. You chose me because you want to gain more confidence, for example, in being on a stage, and you want to work with Anna. And it's so important to have that goal, the SMART goal, how the corporation said, specific, measurable, realistic, and time-bound. So have that. This is what you can expect. Quick results come when you are clear as a mentee. You are clear on what is it that you are trying to achieve, and choose carefully your mentor. And this is the power of a mentor versus a coach. I believe a mentor holds you really accountable, because the mentor will take you under your wing and will give you the power, the courage, the voice, will see and will boost the hope inside you, but also will give you the right tools to speak up.
How can someone detect when a mentor is not a perfect fit? And how do you know that the fit is right? And how can you detect those levels of success as you're allowing or putting these best practices from a mentorship program into your own personal career? And I'm speaking from a seat of a mentee.
Mentorship brings results, because, as I said, results versus SMART goals. As a mentee, you need to be very clear on what is it that you are trying to achieve. So mentorship brings results. So I think if you are a mentee and you've been mentored for 3-4 months by someone, and your goal was, as a time bound, was 3 months, and you are still being mentored and you don't see the results, something is wrong. Either with the goals need to be recalibrated, or maybe the mentor is not involved enough, or is not challenging you enough, or motivating you enough, or holding you accountable enough to achieve that goal according to your 3 months ambition. So this is one example. It's always calibrate the results, because mentorship is not therapy. Mentorship is collaborative approach between two parties. It's a transfer of knowledge, of wisdom, but also you need to see results. If you don't see results in growing your confidence or whatever your goals are, if you don't see results as a mentee, you have not chosen the right mentor. Also, a tip for someone very early in the process: if the mentor is very silent during the mentoring session, he's not the right mentor, because the mentor needs to guide you with questions, to employ certain techniques to make you, probably you are shy or introvert. It's perfect, but this is where the power of mentorship is. The mentor needs to create that, to ask the right and employ the right techniques in order to help you, express your goals.
Speaking of goals and objectives, if you're allocated 3 months with a mentor or 6 months, is it important to really, from a high level perspective, to set at least 3 goals that me as a mentee want to achieve, and then reverse engineer those goals to that, so that I'm taking those SMART action steps towards achieving that goal. Is that very important? In other words, come in with at least with some goals in mind, and then the mentor can assist with the playbook to achieve those goals. Is that correct? It's always great to come in with an agenda in mind, so to speak.
Yes, it is. It's correct. But what if, and I will give you a difficult, scenario now, because it has happened to me. Someone very, very clear on their goals, very ambitious, quite a C-suite client. And throughout, like halfway throughout our sessions, my mentee says, Anna, actually, I want to change my goals because, look what has happened. Look what has, So it was that person let something to distract her from achieving the goals. Now, as a mentor, it's really important to acknowledge, to actively listen. But you need to ask the right questions all the time in order to understand, okay, it's good, but if you want to talk about this with the remaining of the session, are you happy that, we will only be covering this? Or are you happy to recalibrate totally now with this situation coming into play? Your goals actually, are you happy with the end goal to change? So all the time, keep, challenge, have that challenge and that accountability in a motivational way. Or if it's normal, it can happen. Things happen, life happens. You can also try to understand in a motivational way, if this changes, if your goal has changed, would you be happy in 6 months' time with these results? So try to all the time to push for that, end goal in a motivational way.
I get it. Sometimes we do have to pivot and retailor the experience to at least try to still meet that vision, goal, and objective, because things will pop up, but it's also important as a mentee not to fall into specific distractions. So, I mean, it's very important, in other words, to do the work on my end. What type of best practices, wellness modalities, habits that you've established for yourself on a day-to-day basis that sets you up for short-term and long-term success?
As I said, first of all, I'm quite disciplined as a person, and that's why I was successful in supply chain, because you need discipline and I'm structured as a person. So if you are not a structured person, I think it's really important to have like an agenda or journaling. I truly believe in, even on your iPhone, my agenda is for a month, ahead. So even catching up with friends, everything is there, even time for fitness so discipline and structure is really important. I have my notebook here where I note. So it's so important to take notes, to revisit those. So these are something to keep myself organized and focused. I think one of the techniques that helps me stay, grounded and very, down to earth is gratitude. At the end of the day is, no matter what the day is, sometimes, we have bad and good days, but just reflect. And this is something I learned through the certification as a mentor. You need to reflect on the day. Why have you felt so low? What made you feel not at your best? So reflect on the day. And when you wake up, try to thank already for an amazing day. So this is something I learned when I'm Christian Orthodox, and when I pray and I do my prayers, I always thank my God for things like I have already received everything, and I never pray like, please, I want that job, or thank you for having a successful mentoring hub. Thank you for being healthy. Thank you for, creating all these opportunities in my life. This is gratitude brings amazing vibration and gratitude and amazing opportunities to our lives. And fitness. No matter, fitness is the sport I'm doing and I've been doing, but you can play whatever, you can do whatever sport you love. For me, lifting weights and going and hitting the gym is what makes me stay sane. And it's like, it's my coping mechanism, but also it makes me feel so amazing. It's not like I'm getting tired after a session. I feel re-energized. It's so important to stay healthy, not only with your mind, but also with your body, because the body is our home that we will be living till the end of our lives.
And I think we go hand in hand. I established the same practices on a day-to-day journaling. I have a journaling technique where I apply my personal core values into my journaling practice. And in fact, my first personal core value is gratitude. Without gratitude, I can't navigate life on a day-to-day. Just being grateful for what I have now at this very moment in my lifetime enables me to live happy. In a sense, of course, we all have our stuff. We all experience adversity, obstacles, and we must be resilient along the way. But gratitude definitely shifts my perspective. Fitness, of course, is very, very crucial for me to elevate my capacity to do more. Yes, sometimes it gets exhausting, but it also refuels after days of rest. And then I've realized that I can get more done in my job role and responsibility. And then I still have extra capacity because of my fitness journey to put efforts into my podcast, and my channel.
One more stuff, which is really important. Surround yourself by the right people. After I offboarded the corporate, and I started to work on my dream and approach small organizations and create my offer. I realized some people stick with me. People from the past were still there, connecting and supporting my dream and being part of my dream. And some people, Emanuel, somehow they. How should I say it? It was something like slow ghosting. It was, and I was like, of course, because I'm growing. So as I grow, I want to surround myself by powerful people, by people who love growth, by people who are not afraid to overcome a bit of uncomfortable, things in order to grow. So I realized sometimes we need to divorce from those people in our lives that do not make us a favor or do not help us grow. So this is something I've come to better terms with myself, because I was like, why, some people go silent. And I realized, I'm growing, I'm becoming a better version of myself every day. And of course, I'm outgrowing some people in my life. So this is important.
Yeah, it's very important. So do you recommend not only we're surrounding ourselves with people who elevate us, is it important to have our personal board of advisors as well? Meaning, fitness coach, someone who brings a level of mentorship, such as yourself and your program. But what other aspects do we need board members for ourselves?
For ourselves. I've read recently The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama, her second book. And she talks about something which inspired and it resonated with me and with so many of us, is about the kitchen table and how she managed to construct and to build that support network for her before She was the first lady, and after. And this is so humble, and it's amazing because, as I said, some people will not be able to keep up with your growth. But it's so important to have that network of people who challenge you and keep you accountable, people, friends who are like your mirror. I truly believe in friends who will challenge you, will make you sometimes uncomfortable because truth hurts. But if you want to grow, sometimes you need to hear the ugly truth about yourself. So it's about the network. We need to surround ourselves is good managers. If we don't have good managers, we can change, where we work. It's only within our power. Mentors, either internal, if we are privileged enough to benefit from a mentor, or outside, we can choose a mentor for a while to guide us. Fitness, a personal trainer. I had a personal trainer 15 years ago when I started my journey because I did not know how to use the machines in the gym. Yes, whatever you are passionate about. I had times, and it was the best choice when I reached out to a specialist, psychologist, and it was the best decision in my life because I needed to become the best, the best me. So I needed to delve and to heal some trauma from the past. And it's amazing. So, but we need to be curious, to reach out. Don't stay alone because we are so many people. Even people like you, Emanuel. You offered me this chance to tell my story, to inspire people and organizations. And yes, we need to surround ourselves and to be curious.
Having a level of curiosity for me has opened up so many doors, not only intellectually, me being curious about a specific subject, taking the actions to learn that subject has opened doors into new roles, but also just being curious about life, the world. Traveling has also opened up a certain aspect of connecting with different cultures. So that for me is my next dream, is to be able to connect with different individuals that will open up my perspective culturally. Maybe one day heading out to Transylvania, and getting that taste of what that experience is like, So for me, I'm curious about life. I'm a lifelong learner, and that has enabled growth. Okay, so before we move on to the next steps for Ana, what are any final thoughts that you want to have, suggestions with regards to mentorship in like 3 bulleted items? What would those be for the viewer?
It's important to reach out to a mentor when you struggle with something, or when you feel that you are a bit alone and you don't know how to navigate, because a mentor will help you reach your destination quicker. This is the role of a mentor. Mentorship is about the same values, sharing the same values, mentor-mentees. Mentorship can be biased. Sometimes I worked for so many organizations. I was privileged, Emanuel, to be benefiting from internal mentors. They were beautiful people, but still I faced with discrimination in the workplace. If I had an amazing mentor, it shouldn't have happened. So what I'm saying, the organizations need to recognize the need of unconscious bias and the need of mentorship, like outside of the organization.
Are there any words of wisdom that you'd like to, provide to your past version of yourself? I say this to all of my interviewees: is there something, words of wisdom that you'd like to, tell your younger version?
I would tell my younger self, keep going, and you don't need to prove yourself every single day because you are enough. And if I knew that early on, probably I would have achieved even more. I would have had probably even a higher impact on a social impact on many people. But I had to constantly prove myself that I need to reach that and climb that level because I need to prove, to so many people, I can do it. No, we are enough. We don't have to prove anything to anyone. We are enough. And this is what I would have repeatedly said to my younger self.
It's important to, be graceful with ourselves and understand that we must honor ourselves
Yes.
for who we are today. Forward looking, what would you like to say to your future version? And this is something that this concept I explore a whole lot because oftentimes I like to envision what my future self would look like. What, like you provided to me the motivational interview, what does Heart to Core look like 5 to 10 years from now?
One of the popular podcast worldwide.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Ana. So yeah, let's talk about Ana. What would you like to say to your future version?
I love this question because actually you are helping me because I'm on Green Apple's career. My soul project and my heart project is a startup. And this question really helps me, Emanuel, to think about my future and to dare about. I want to bring, to have a truly impact on making the workplaces really psychological safety in order to make people like me, underrepresented women from the ethnic minority, grow amazing careers and contribute to a very painful statistic. McKinsey published the 2022 report, Women in the Workplace. It's shocking. It's the 2022 report, which was published last October, which says 1 woman in 4 is part of the, executive boards, C-suite. And this is shocking because we are talking about, these times where women in leadership, in executive leadership positions should be there. The gender diversity should be embraced. If I look at the future, I would love my startup to make a truly social impact on people careers, on people lives, on people personal and professional development, helping organizations to truly focus on people who drive the profit, not on profit first and people second.
That's one of my objectives as well, is to bring diversity on my own platform. And I think for me, it's been a learning process, learning from subject matter experts like yourself that brings so much, again, to the table worldwide. This next question, I think you touched on this already. However, I want to, again, I know it's important not to ruminate on the past or be so future focused, but also I do feel like it's important to honor our past experiences, but also be forward looking and marriage those two concepts so that we can stay grounded in the present moment. How do you stay grounded in the present moment, Ana?
As you said, I think I don't allow myself to, it's something I learned through tough times, cognitive behavioral therapy. The government here, the UK government, if you face with a certain level of anxiety or you can benefit from cognitive behavioral therapy. And this is when I came across with this amazing concept. And actually something that resonates with me because I'm so I'm a logical person. Cognitive behavioral, it's all about being not dwelling too much or procrastinating too much or letting yourself too much to suffer. It's like, okay, being a bit logic, and in that tough times, take a piece of paper, for example. Sometimes if you believe that some things will, don't let yourself to think about something like a disaster or bad things. Try to stay logic, pros, cons, how many times this situation has occurred in your life, what was the consequence. So try to employ techniques that are logic. So for me, this is one of the technique. Broken record. Broken record is something I used in my negotiations. When you don't agree with something and someone ignores your opinion, your voice, ignores your point of view, or even your voice input at the table, be a broken record. Keep repeating yourself. And this is a negotiation technique, because sometimes it's like you don't move forward. If price is what is it that you need to, negotiate over and over again, and your party wants to move on to negotiating lead time, it's like, no, let's get back and talk about the price. So be a broken record with yourself. Don't let yourself go down, and reach out to negotiators, to your family, to mentors, to coaches, to your kitchen table.
I will grab that broken record concept and put it in my toolbox. I'm going to pull that out and always use it, repeat it until it becomes to fruition, until I close that deal, and et cetera, et cetera. Fantastic work. Okay, Ana, what's next for Green Apples?
Wow, what's next to for Green Apples is growing. It's just a startup. We are a startup now, and we are trying now to grow as impact. And the impact comes with being considered by organizations instead of, and this is the force for good. So I'm trying to influence, as a former negotiator, I'm trying to challenge the organizations to consider suppliers' diversity. Women, ethnic minority, 100% owned businesses to be considered for in working with organizations. And this is where I need to keep working on the social impact, because one-to-one, working on a one-to-one is good. But for me, this is not my ambition. The true impact, Emanuel, comes when I sign off a contract with an organization, when big organizations, and I want to see more. And this is what I'm advocating for: suppliers, diversity in action, to influence corporations or big organizations to work with small startups like me, disruptive, who have something to say, who are efficient, effective, who can, in 5 days, can do what the big five could do in 6 months with millions of pounds. I don't have the headcount, and I'm more effective, and I'm disruptive. Give me a chance. So this is what what's next. And taking my voice globally by digitalizing, bringing, digitalization in Green Apple's career.
Thanks for sharing your vision with us as far as what's next for Green Apples, and as far as digitizing. Well, I would love to see some more content, that's for sure. And I'm sure, I have no doubt that you'll deliver. Any resources you'd like to recommend to our viewing audience? Books, music, films, anything that has inspired you on your journey for growth and development, or that has inspired your business venture of creating these mentoring hubs?
There is one movie that really inspired me and gave me the courage. It was released by Netflix, I think, in 2020. It's called, I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's a documentary. It's beautiful. The Playbook. It's about famous coaches with championship resumes, like Jose Mourinho, and who says, what is it takes to mentor someone like Ronaldo? I'm speaking your language now, you see, like the football. You are already, your eyes are glowing already. So, and it's beautiful. There are 5-6 episodes, but it's so inspirational because he says something like, Jose Mourinho says something like, how can I can't teach Ronaldo how to, to score or how to, play football, but I can. My role as a coach, as a mentor, is to help Ronaldo perform in a team. It's amazing. And there are so many other, it's so inspirational because they have the courage and very challenging mentees to work with. So this is something to give you courage and inspiration. The Light We Carry book, which Michelle Obama released recently, and it's amazing. My friend gave it to me as a Christmas gift, and it's beautiful, Emanuel, because it gives you as someone who comes as a Black woman who had constantly to overcome obstacles. It's incredible the vulnerability she shows in that book and what she does in order to stay grounded, courageous, brave, humble, to step back, how to support, how to give back. It's incredible book, which I would recommend. And I loved, but this is very personal. I love Pink. I love Pink because she's a very bold woman who displays honesty to, extreme honesty. And this is something which says a lot about integrity and the courage and how she juggles with, family and career and how tough it is. One of her last recent released soundtrack, Trustful. Oh, I love it. It's like, I see myself a year ago trusting myself to fall after 2 decades.
Oh, I love that. Thanks for sharing those. Trustful. Ooh, I'm glad you took the leap. Call to actions for our audience. Where can people find you? Where can people get a hold of you, Ana? We want you to leverage this platform so that people can find you and connect with you.
I would love to connect, and I promise I will make time to reply. Genuine connection is one of my value. So I promise to take the time to connect on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. And I have a beautiful profile there and you can connect with me via LinkedIn, Ana-Maria Velica. Also, you can connect with me via Instagram, Green Apples Career. You can connect with me via website, greenapples.uk. So, and Ana-Maria Fitness 22, which is my public fitness image to inspire people that you can be successful and grow a career, also be an entrepreneur, but also you can also leverage your fitness. And you can, it's my journal of fitness, and I inspire people there. So
any last thoughts that you would love to share to our audience to take with them as they conclude watching this episode with the Heart to Core channel?
I hope it helped. I hope we, the two of us, and our dialogue managed to have an impact on someone. I hope we gave some tools to people to cope with in difficult times. And I hope people understand nobody is alone. I am here for a good cause, for someone who needs help. I'm here. This is, I hope we made an impact on at least one person. It's enough.